All right, we're getting ready to make this thing look a lot more like a little engine. Got the valve train done the other day, so we're ready to start putting the cylinders and the heads onto the engine. Went ahead and put the studs in. They are 8mm studs with case savers. I stacked everything, cylinder and the head on there. Everything fit good. So right now we're going to check the piston ring clearance, everything in that jug to make sure it's good. Then we can start slapping it together. Okay, the first step is I pulled the rings off the piston. Just standard engine milling stuff. Dropped the rings in there, pushed them down to the piston to square them up, and then measured the gap. They're all around 16 thousandths, which is just right on the money. Which should have been, because these cylinders and pistons came as a set. But I like to double check everything. So now we'll carefully put the rings back on the piston and get them up in the cylinder. All right, the rings are back on there. Check the piston to bore clearance. Everything was good. I'm not exactly sure what the best way of getting these in there is. I think what I'm going to do is slip the cylinder down over the rings with it on the bench. Then start sliding the cylinder on there and then put the pin in and then push it on in. That's my plan right now. We'll see if it works. I've got the ring gaps spaced around the piston like they're supposed to be. All the rings are going up in the jug. There's an arrow on the top of the piston. And the instructions, the plans say to aim it toward the back of the engine. So aim it toward the flat side of the fins there. Now, I need to clean off that sealing surface and we'll put some silicone around that where it seals to the case. Using the ultra black silicone, the real oil resistant stuff. Just a bead around the base here. Now there used to be a paper gasket, I understand, that went in between here. But at some point, the paper gasket was discontinued and recommended using silicone, so that's what we're going with. So yeah, I've already got one of the piston clips in there, the wrist pin clips. So bring this up. Yep, everything's aimed the right direction. Start sliding it in. Up on the studs. There. Stick my finger in the silicone. There we go. That is a little downhill. Slide the pin all the way in. Put the clip on the other side here. Make 100% sure it's seated in the groove. Got no seals on the push rod tubes. The accordion part goes toward the motor because the ends of the pushrod tubes are different sizes. Instructions said to bend the tubes at an angle, then straighten them back out and put them on there. That'll help lengthen them a little bit and make them seal. Slide this on. Pushrod tubes lined up. Start bringing these bottom ones down a little bit. Everything looks nice and tight there. Now they're starting to pull down a little bit. Slip the flat washer in there. Add some Loctite. That back on. Same over here. And do your best not to drop the nuts down the push rod. And if you couldn't tell outside, it's the 4th of July. So we got some explodings going on. Loctite the top. Cylinder and the head look like it's coming together good. Washers and nuts. Give everything a look. That's looking good as far as a little bit of silicone squeeze. Now these all get torqued to 18 foot-pounds. Now, let's see if it still turns. Nice. So now, do that on the other side. And there we go, second side is on. Went on just as good as the first, no problems. The only thing that I realized that I'd forgot was these lower studs. They're in the oil and that goes straight through the back. So I put some sealant on both sides of the washers to keep from having a drip out the back side of the head. I went back and did the same to the other side. That was the only thing that I know that I forgot. One last thing before I end this video. I mentioned when I was building the rocker arms and everything. But you know how one side the holes are inboard, they're a little outboard there. And that throws the pedestal off compared to the end of the head. And one viewer said that I should have cut the front off of two different heads instead of cutting a head in half and using each piece. Well, that's not accurate, because you look at this right there. It seems like it would make sense, but you've got the push rod holes close to the end there. So what I did was cut it down the middle, use this head over there, use this head over here, this half. Well, the deal is that these cylinder heads are totally interchangeable from side to side. So as soon as you move that over there, that one that was the back over here is now the front for that side. So it's how it's supposed to be. I think what the deal was on the plans is they probably made a print of half the head, and then they probably just reversed the image for the other side instead of making a print for each side, would be my guess. But either way, that looks like how it's supposed to go together. Find out when we get the push rods in there. That'll be the next video. I'll put the push rods in, set the valves. Then after that, they'll know if I may start working on the mag, get it set and mounted on the back. And I've also got to cut down valve covers and the springs. But man, that is looking like an engine.